right, let's welcome our guest today. We're very pleased to welcome for the digital segment, SABC digital producer, Miss Buchule Putini. Buchule, good morning.
Good morning, Alicia.
All right, I'm very well, thank you. And of course, on the main desk, we do have political analyst, Miss Lebohang Peko, media specialist, Miss Paula Frey, and media analyst, Mr. Tebogo Ditsejo, joining the ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, looking oh so gorgeous this morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Buchule, take it away. I can only imagine what the biggest trending story of this week was, but I'll let you do the honors.
Now, Alicia, the one top hashtag this week has to be the KFC assault.
Yeah.
People were very disturbed, especially when the video of the 6 men attacking this couple went viral on social media. People were disturbed about the fact that they had their kids in the car as well. And the DA and the Catharata Foundation has condemned this and saying that they are disgusted by this report of a racial attack.
What are the tweets saying?
The tweets, at Siho L2 says, like, I'm still shocked to the core of my being. It's not right. These idiots are bringing racial division in the country.
Let's look at more tweets there. Ngolosi
Jali says,
KFC assault, where are the RDA MPs to condemn this act? Bagupi, they're so quick to talk about corruption. Why not racism and assault? More tweets, Bukola?
Now, Ulebuheng Beruza says, our people never learn. They will be marching with them next week after such a beating and humiliation. Now, the next hashtag that trended this week was the
Wait,
no confidence.
before we go to the next big hashtag, Bukhula, I want to find out from my guests what they thought about this development with the video. I do know that we're going to talk about it in more detail. Tebogo, what did you make of these developments of that video?
Well, firstly, I think it's important for viewers to understand that the racial issues in South Africa are a ticking time bomb. If we do not address them, not only arrest them, but uproot them from the root causes, we're going to have serious problems in our country, of which I don't want to even go into the kind of bloodshed that this can lead to. Now, it goes beyond animosity. This is racial hatred. It's racial discrimination. We have structural racism where black people are excluded from the economy, and you have situations of white supremacy that are not being tackled. And so you can just imagine the terror that the woman who was recording the video felt, having 6 white males attacking her husband and then attacking her too, pulling out a gun and beating him to a pulp just because he asked the person to move up in KFC, to move up a little bit. And so I think in our country, we need to look at how we're going to uproot racism in its entirety.
Ladies, I want to hear from you. Paula, what did you make of this? I mean, in particular to the women being beaten up by 6 men. Aren't we celebrating Women's Month? Doesn't that even count?
I mean, I think it also speaks to the fact that every August it's Women's Month and suddenly women's issues come to the fore, when really we should be tackling these issues
every day.
across the year, every single day. I think that, and the issue also is I mean, it's critical that we bring up the fact that these men had no qualms about beating a woman, but these men had no qualms about beating anyone.
Yeah.
And the level of violence is something I think that we need to be tackling.
I think that we need to sort of get away from the banality of how we are framing our race discourses in this country. We're talking increasingly around, and we're looking at symptoms, so we get excited about Spurman, we get excited about Penny Sparrow, now we've got KFC Man. And we know we're not going into the issues of structural racism, structural and institutional racism. We're not going into the post-colonial question. We're not going into the notion that we live in a country that, although it is an African majority country, has a white minority discourse, hegemonic imaginations, and those are what really are governing these sorts of actions. And I think when we talk about race hatred, we're somewhat missing the point entirely. We're missing the point that we have failed in terms of converting this into a post-colonial state.
And you mentioned this last week.
Into a truly independent state. So these banalities, which as tragic and as unfortunate and as disgusting as they are, the discourse needs to move into structural issues in a much more profound way.
Absolutely. Buchule, let's go to the next big hashtag of this week. It's a very disturbing video indeed.
It is
that.
indeed. The next big hashtag is the hashtag no confidence. Now, as you know, that the SACP has come out to say they will vote to keep President Zuma in power in the no confidence vote on Tuesday. So now,
what are the tweets saying, Buchule?
So there are mixed views amongst social media.
I want to hear them.
Social media users. Some are anticipating what will be the outcomes of the vote. So Sangla says, in the vote on Tuesdays, much anticipated motion of no confidence in President Zuma. And then I am Silo says, the motion of no confidence will not succeed. Msholuzi fought for one term and second term, now technical fighting third term.
Last one
The last
from, who's that? Gamoroja.
Yeah.
He says, I cannot beg NC MPs to vote against the motion of no confidence. It's their obligation to do so and always must be.
Now, Digital News Online, SABC News Online, has been playing around the topic during the week. And we posted a poll asking Twitter users to whom should Parliament be accountable. So 13% said their party, 15% said the constituency, 63% said the constitution, and 9% said their conscience.
Very interesting. Leboha, what do you make of those very different dimensions of who the people actually think should hold power over Parliament?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think right now we're facing a fascinating dilemma, which is a democratic one, how we put it to the test and really how resilient our democracy is. I think that it's also the opportunity for us to think about the ways in which we're able to engage with forms of power, multiple voices and multiple, diverse opinions and perspectives. And I think we should be excited. I mean, some of these conversations, they become silly Twitter memes, but we should actually be quite excited that there's a level of engagement that is actually taking place.
Yeah, we're going to discuss that later on before we wrap the show. Let's wrap up the segment. Buchule, what do you have for us to wrap up the digital segment
now,
this
Alicia, on a lighter note, Bonang Mateba.
The book!
Bonang Mateba
Tell us all about
launched a new book called A to B. Now, a lot of people came out disappointed.
What is
in
this
the
I'm
book.
seeing here?
It's grammar and there's
in a published book.
In a published book. So she launched a book last week, and some of her supporters actually ordered the book before the launch. So they posted some of the pages from the book, and there were a couple of mistakes. Some went to the extent of Googling posting and Googling her birthday, which is on the 25th of June, but in the book it's written as the 24th. So people were confused, disappointed, because she is a media personality who has been at the top of her game. If you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So a couple of people were disappointed, and
what did they say on Twitter?
Attacked her, some defended her. Tess, the goddess, said, so what if Bonang's English is bad? There are white people whose English is worse, but black people always want to give each other grief. Hashtag A to B.
Let's take more tweets there from our viewers. Of course, Lusanda says, you are missing the point. I didn't choose to write a book, whereas B did. So she was supposed to be better than this. Too much to expect?
Yeah.
Do we have any more tweets?
So it's Tess, the goddess again, who says, so what if Bonang's English is bad? There are white people whose English is worse, but black people always want to give each other grief. All right.
Buchule, unfortunately, we've run out of time for the segment. Thank you so much for joining us. Just give our viewers that URL where they can get these news and more on our digital front.
You can get news and everything at SABC News Online and Digital News Online for the news.
All right.